Yeah, you.
Wish you could slide into my mind and make me mine. Push play rewind. Let's whip outside and so am I.
Hi, how's it going, Korea?
Hi, how are you doing?
I'm good. I'm a little bit upset about this lighting here. It makes me look like a ghost. Again, the power of editing. So, so like I said, people got things from the bio and they can see that on the flyer. But what's something that maybe you want to tell us about yourself that they wouldn't have gotten from that?
Um, I'm a foodie. I love to cook. My background is in hotel restaurant management, culinary arts. So I love to cook, and anyone know I can throw down in the kitchen.
Okay, so what is your favorite? What's like your signature dish? If you had to go in like Hell's Kitchen, what would you cook?
OMG. Not Hell's Kitchen.
Right.
What would I serve Gordon? I would serve Gordon probably some good Haitian epis, so from some good old fashioned Haitian epis.
And then I would see I can't cook at all, and that sounds amazing. So I would probably just go on the show to be insulted by Gordon Ramsay in the most way possible. Speaking of which, I have been to Hill's Kitchen. It was wonderful.
Nice.
Yeah,
I
but
have to go.
yeah, it was expensive, but definitely worth it. So that's one important thing, and like that's the thing. Like we all have our things that when we run for a pageant, people would get so focused on the important little background things, our credentials. But one of the things about our pageant system is Trans USA is about the humanity of being trans, not just maybe whether we're entertainers or we have this great list here. So when we talk about humanity and the trans experience, we talk about with us trans excellence. That phrase that we've been throwing around all year. When I say that phrase, trans excellence, what does that actually mean to you?
No. When I hear the phrase trans excellence, I hear someone that I can look up to, someone who is going places and doing things, someone who is achieving, beyond all means. When I also hear trans excellence, I also hear the little girl that's in the corner that is starting to thrive, starting to blossom into this butterfly that she wants to become, and that little girl's me. So I think of trans excellence in so many different ways. I think of it, like I said, as a hero or someone you look up to, but also that same person who is starting to become into their own and starting to understand their own identity.
I think you hit on a really important point there, because when we talk about trans excellence, we're not talking about one thing. If we're talking about all of us and just kind of that idea that we're all kind of excellent,
yes,
just by being ourselves. I think that's really cool. That's a good point. So this is like not meant to be an entirely serious interview, and we started with something super serious. So I want to sort of get to this part that I've been asking everybody, because again, we're humans, we're real people. So if I asked you what one of your pet peeves was, and I'm not talking about one of those major deal breakers, but one of those things that's really stupid and annoying, that if you told them that they were like, if this bothered you, they'd be like, why do you even care so much?
Oh.
Mine is clipping fingernails, by the way. I can't stand the sound.
Clipping fingernails. I don't.
Or do you just not have anything that bothers you like that?
People smacking gum. Smacking. You know how every dead silence and they're just on it. So this is that. Yeah, I can't.
It goes beyond that tongue pop thing where it's just every 3 seconds just some kind of noise. I totally get that. I think somebody said last time it was the folding sheets. They had to fold the sheets a certain way, and anybody who was folding the sheets differently was. I mean, we've been in relationships for a very long time. In the house, you always fight about stuff like that.
Oh, yeah. I totally understand that.
Yeah. So that's just one of those things. I mean, do you and your husband fight about some of the silly little household things?
Yes, our fur babies. I take them out one way, he takes them out a different way. For me, they listen to the sound of my voice, and I say stop, they stop, they don't move. He's telling them to stop, they'll run. So it's like the different ways that we take them out when we're both taking them out separate. I can take him out without a leash. He cannot do that.
Yeah, and it's great because when you have more than one, you're trying to figure out which one's listening to which one of you more. And
Right. And now we have a new puppy, so it's like, oh, three.
yep, we have 3 here as well, so it's constant. Somebody's always got to go out.
Yes.
So yeah, that's just something I like to ask because I meeting you for the first time this way. I kind of like to get to know people more than the application. So it's kind of what I wanted. So I guess we got to shift back to that though.
Okay.
Since we haven't met before, I wanted to talk about like what made you interested in the system in Trans USA. Like, what is that? You hear the title, and you see us around. Like, what was the thing that made you really like? I want to do that.
Well, I've been watching it for. I'm a pageant enthusiast. I love pageants. I'm a promoter myself for a couple, and I love being, the fact that I'm a person that loves humanity, and I'm a trans advocate, and I do a lot for my community. And it was something that spoke to me for those things. Yes, we can do all the things that everyone else do in every other system, but I like that it had something different than the rest did not have, and it was totally about. I feel it's about my advocacy. What am I doing in the community as a trans representative? How am I making a way for the next generation behind me? And I feel like I've always said, this has been my path and my guide since age 15. Like I said in my application. So
Yeah,
it's just my destiny, and I just feel like this system speaks volumes to what I do in my life every day, literally.
that's you've hit the nail on the head there because there is something very different about Trans USA in that there is no talent category. It kind of puts that out there that we are more than that, and that this pageant, anybody could pay a lot of money to have backup dancers or do whatever, but this is not about that. We may be entertainers outside of this, but this really is about our advocacy work, what we do for the community, and what we stand for. So when we asked, and I want to let everybody know that one of the awards that we give out this year, it's going to be the first year, and we will continue to get out, is the Outstanding Advocate Award. And we ask people to choose a charity that they'd like to work with in this during the year. And you have chosen one. It's Our Spot KC.
Yes.
Yeah. I didn't really know much about that, and I wanted to get from you. Can you tell me more about that charity and the work you kind of do with them?
Most definitely. Our Spot KC and our Linehouse KC, .org. Definitely, they are the first LGBT queer ran housing shelter in the Kansas City metropolitan area. We know that LGBT young folks between 18 and 24 sometimes fall prey to homelessness from parents kicking them out because finding out who they are, from many different things that cause homelessness. So, and when those people go to shelters, they're not accepted because they are of the LGBTQIA queer community, and they're not able to be themselves in those spaces. So Linehouse was formed by an amazing woman named Star Palmer, who, along with her director, Melissa Winters, created this organization for housing folks in the Kansas City metropolitan area. And it's been around for 2 years now. I myself just joined them as an employee this year, switching over from my other previous work in HIV. So I'm excited for this because we need more organizations like this nationwide that is helping young people be able to escape those harmful things and not be on the street, not being tense in the middle of the winter. I can go on and on.
I know, and that's something that I feel that, like, you hit a good point with the younger people, that gap too, because even if you haven't been immediately, let's say, thrown out for being yourself, for coming out, as soon as you hit 18, that may be the point when people say no more in your family circumstance. That's the roughest period. And I think having that transitional housing and that programming is super important. And I also think that, and this is not one of the ones that's definitely listed there, but you did mention your previous work in HIV advocacy. And I know that there's probably going to be a lot of transferable skills, let's say. So, and I just wanted to ask if you felt comfortable explaining how that may be related, how that your HIV work can carry over to this job.
In many forms. I'm going into a case management role, so I have previous case management roles, but as an HIV tester, as someone talking to the community, I am basically face to face with all kind of people, LGBT, heterosexual, I mean cisgendered. Let's say correctly, cisgender folks, um, as well as the queer community. So by having that effect and being able to see someone that looks like you in that role, I was in a role where there was never a trans person in that role ever. So to sit in a role where I was able to see not only trans people, but gender nonconforming people, non-binary people, to be able to talk to them so they can see someone like them, to be able to fully open up, to be able to want to test. So carrying those roles over into working with the youth will be the same thing, is really understanding the youth and identifying what their needs are. Our needs over at our needs at Linehouse for them is, I mean, I'm sorry.
No worries.
Our role at Linehouse is to get them housed. We believe in housing first. So the same role that I would use from my HIV work is definitely will get them, listen to them, have an opening ear. I said opening ear.
It's all right. It's not a test. But I know what when you get super passionate about your work and you just want to get everything right though, and I can definitely see and appreciate that. And I know that the first couple of times I try to practice even on here, I'm like, I don't think that's a word. But but trust me, you're doing great.
Where did it come from?
No, that's okay. I think we can go for that. But basically, we were talking about just how that work really translates, and you're going to bring that experience that you have in that role and being somebody that people can relate to on a lot of levels to your new role with Our Spot, right? Or Linehouse, you said as well?
Yes, so they're the same organization.
Oh,
Linehouse is the shelter, and Our Spot KC is the community center.
oh, okay. So there's really a lot of big work going down there in
Yes.
your Kansas City area specifically.
Yes.
And I think that that's something that I kind of wanted to touch on because we look at all the different states and places being represented. And I think that you would be the best to kind of speak on Missouri, like the trans community in Missouri. What do you see as the biggest issue for states like Missouri, southern states, for the trans community that may not be up here where I am in DC?
Well, I'm in the heart of America. I'm in the Midwest. I would love representing the Show Me State because not only am I born and raised in Kansas City, Missouri, but I also represent the whole state of Missouri. Even our sister city, St. Louis, from St. Louis to Springfield to Kansas City to St. Joe, all the different areas of the Ozarks, we represent trans people of all nationalities all across the state of Missouri. And by doing that, the most thing that we found out through the program that we created and identified is housing. Housing, actually having the wraparound services for home therapy, actually having the services of having trans data when it comes to HIV work, because we don't have that data. That data is missing in the Midwest, especially in the state of Missouri. We're missing that data, and this data that we can have information to be able to house more people, to be able to take care of more people, to get more trans folks tested, to know their status. The more that we get that done, hey,
that's like the biggest thing. And I don't think and it's one of those things that you probably know, but jumping off of my whole nerd side, we talk about the hierarchy of needs and basic needs like housing and food before you can do anything else for anyone, whether it be employment or accessing certain services. They have to be basically able to survive, and that's what you guys are doing. I think that's just so incredible, and that you've identified those needs and you know exactly this is the path you need to take. So thank you.
One more thing, if I may say, I know here in Kansas City, that we definitely need, and really with the state of Missouri, is we need them to really get the feds in on our hate crime here. Since 2008, we have had over 18 queer, Black, and Latino folks killed here in the Kansas City metropolitan area. And that's a need that really needs to happen. We really need to get that. When it comes to the state takes it over, and then it goes no further. So that's one definitely need that we need to take care of.
Is that when you think about the national pageant. If there were one thing that you would like them to remember about you, whether win or lose, as Miss Trans Missouri, what do you think that would be?
I met a friend for life.
Yeah, you know what? I have actually never heard that response before, but that seems to be like the best response I've heard, honestly, because this is the point. It's building community, and
Because
it's building.
sometimes as trans folks, we're spread all across the United States, and we sometimes don't know each other. Sometimes we're in our own small circles, and to get to know other people outside of your circle is opening another networking for you. It's opening another friendship. It's opening another part of your life that you didn't know that existed there. So I would just say
Met a friend
exactly
for
that.
that. Well, I'm hoping that that's true for us too, because
Most definitely.
talking has been really wonderful, and I think that
Um,
I think that it's going to be great you'll meet brothers, sisters, siblings from all across the country. Because you're right. I mean, in a lot of pageants too, we're so focused on that competition part. We sometimes we don't get to talk to each other. Um,
yes.
but it was really different for me in this year, and I'm an extremely competitive person. So for me to say that is incredible. So we talk about a lot of heavy things and a lot of the work that we do, and the stresses of pageant, all these stressful things. So what do you do to relax in life?
Cook. Um, take a vacation because sometimes being an advocate sometimes is a lot of work. It gets stressful. I tell people, yes, we're entertainers, we do pageants, we do this and that, but sometimes we need a break too. We need to just get away, shut down,
And
turn off
just
our computer, our phones, cuddle with our fur babies, and just
because
snuggle with the
you've
hubby. Yeah.
absolutely you've been on that promoter side of it too, where people don't even see that you're not only entertaining and doing all this, but all of the back work that goes into it. You've been familiar with that, so sometimes you never get to have a minute's rest or your phone always going off. So I've yet to do this, but I definitely agree that we all need to just throw this in a closet somewhere. Use all of them, so don't worry. So let's go to something a lot different, because now that I'm just like thinking about that. We talked about dogs that we have. You have three now. I
Yes.
have three, and I feel like if we were ever in the same room, it would be a big chaotic cluster. But so if you could have another type of pet, let's say a really out there atypical animal, not a cat or dog, do you have a preference for that?
Yes. I would want a llama.
Oh my God.
I think they're so cute.
Don't llamas like attack people? Do they? Aren't they mean? Is that what I've heard that?
They say they're mean, but I doubt it. I think
Yeah.
they're sweet.
Maybe they just know who to attack.
Well, at the petting zoo, they're okay. You can just, you know.
Yeah. I toss up between otters and a little baby hedgehog. I don't know why. I
Aw,
just want to carry it around everywhere.
it's gonna stick you. It's gonna get you.
I don't know. I'm an animal person. I think I get along more with animals than people sometimes. So
Same sometimes. Yeah.
yeah, sometimes.
It's also self care with the fur babies.
So I we kind of get sidetracked on all of the fun little conversations, but this really is one of those interviews where not only do we want to know about you as a person, but about your work in the community and what inspired you in so many different ways. So is there a trans person in your life that inspired you?
Yes. I'm glad you asked that. I always tease that I was cursed at age 15. It was a young woman by the name of Ashley Nicole Kelly, or we call her Charzetta. She was the Black trans inspiration for us. She was the fishiest, shortest thing, and as a kid, it was like, oh, she is so gorgeous. She always used to tell me that you're gonna be the peacemaker, and I'm like, out of all the kids, I'm gonna be the peacemaker. Girl, yeah, right. So I didn't think about it. As I got older, the more I started getting involved in my community, they realized that really not until mid 30s, I was like, ah, I was cursed. I really was cursed because I really felt that. But then I say the curse was a blessing because losing her, I understand that she was the peacemaker of our community. So I don't know if it was God telling her to tap the next person that needs to be that voice, that person that someone can look up to, that someone can fight for the community. She was that person for us. And I basically have turned into that same person where I continue to fight for my community. As like I told you before, in 2008, we have had several people in Kansas City be killed, including my godson, my sisters, basically people very close to me, people in the community. So she was that beacon of light. She was the person who tapped me at age 15 and said, hey, this is your journey. And I didn't really believe that journey, but that's why I'm here now. I'm here doing the work and actually being that person in the community, that beacon of light for those who don't have that voice, and I can really tell you more and more about that story that you have to save for later.
So we're talking about that, being a light for somebody, being visible out there. And I think that if you could just tell us, what does it mean to be visible for you personally?
It means to me to be visible is that to know that there were people that fought for me to be visible. People like Marsha P, people like Ashley Nicole Kelly, people like myself, people like those out there that we look up to each and every day. So to me, that means visibility. If they can fight for me to be seen, to be able to walk the streets, to be whatever I want to be, then to me, I need to be visible and I need to scream and shout. And like I said, the duck approach is my whole motto. I'm like a water off a duck's back. I am strength, hear me roar.
I love that. And I think that's just kind of the amazing thing because we have a very similar outlook on that. And no matter, we're not necessarily saying like it's not going to hurt you, but when somebody out there that was in our shoes like us years ago, like it's more, we always, like I said, we always talk about the things that we want to do and work we want to do for people and the giving and giving. But if you could take away something from this, what would you like that to be?
Like I stated earlier, a new family bond, a new group of people doing the same outlook that I am doing, the same vision and same platform that I am in realm of, building that bond and that family with the trans US Today family.
Yeah, you want to put that dish in your mouth.
Greetings. My name is Korea Cavalli. I go by the professional stage name of Korea Cavalli. I'm in Miss Trans Missouri 2023. This year, my focus is on my platform, Trans and LGBTQ Youth, the Little Ducky Effect. Our Spot KC Linehouse is the first program dedicated to serving the LGBT community and approaching the problem from a different angle. The wraparound services provided by our Spot KC and Linehouse program staff help equip LGBTQ people and their family with the tools and knowledge necessary to reach their goal of stable and sustainable housing. Over the next several months and year, I'll be working with this organization to help fundraise and spread the word about why LGBTQ housing is very much needed. Also, a small workshop series empowering the trans folk, the Little Ducky Effect. If I wallow in my sorrow, I can never swim ashore, but if I suit up in my armor, I'll pass all the negativity for sure. I'm your Miss Trans Missouri 2023, Miss Korea Cavalli.
Yeah, you want to put that dish in your mouth.